7 days to cross Myanmar.
I don't feel so good.
And also the boat's broken down.
A 1,000-day adventure from Sydney to New York by motorbike and boat. After spending a few months enjoying Thailand, we headed towards the border with Myanmar and Laos, also known as the Golden Triangle. This area is famous for trafficking drugs, guns, and people. We teamed up with a fellow overlander from the UK named Geoff, who was crossing Myanmar at the same time.
We got to the border, it's actually really busy. It's going to be a bit of an interesting crossing because we've overstayed our time in Thailand, so it could be up for a $500 fine. Overstayed by visa by 2 days, which is okay. And we're entering without all the correct paperwork, which is going to make it an interesting challenge. We've got 7 days to cross, but we don't have our carnet yet to get the motorbike out the other side. And we also don't have our visas for India or Bangladesh to get out the other side. So the 7 days to cross Myanmar is going to be an interesting challenge. And fingers crossed we're still alive on the other side, which I'm sure we will be. And then we make it. Stay tuned.
I'm just trying to get our visa approval letters printed at the border.
We were entering at a border called Inle Lake. This took us straight into the Shan state in Myanmar, where almost 25% of the world's heroin is produced. To get into this region, we needed some help.
Hello, Amelia, nice to meet you.
At last, I can see you. Okay, everything is ready.
Everything's ready?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So all we've got to do is get out of Thailand.
All right, should we go?
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, yeah.
This spot is a mystery as to how you get across.
So I've made it through the checkpoint. I'm out of Thailand now, and there's Myanmar in the background. But Steve and Wolf and Geoff and his bike are still going through customs. So I've just been told to go through and wait for them, so I guess I'll do that. Alright. There we go.
So we're missing some paperwork, which we're meant to have to get from the border from Thailand into Myanmar. We're currently in customs. But so far it looks like we've got away with it, Geoff.
Yeah. Yeah, we should have, he thinks, the customs guy thinks we should have had a Department of Land Transport permit when we initially came into Thailand, and he's right, but we didn't have one. No one fussed about it. In a way, they got no choice other than to stamp it to let us out. You know,
Fingers crossed that we're
going to be home and dry.
Already meeting the Myanmar tourist police. How do I say hello?
Mingalaba.
Mingalaba. Mingalaba. He's here.
Everything good?
Yes.
Welcome to Myanmar.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the part of the border crossing where you change from left side of the road to right side of the road.
Upon entry, there were regular reminders that this part of Myanmar is a little bit different. Our first challenge was to get from Inle Lake to Kantung. It was a 3-hour ride away, but we only had 2 hours of sunlight left. Normally, this isn't a problem. However, we were warned to never ride at night in the Shan state due to the high number of insurgents in the area. By this stage, we didn't have a choice, so we burned along the mountainous and scenic tar and dirt road that marked the way. After hundreds of bends, a few remote villages, and the occasional car, we safely arrived by nightfall.
Made it.
Day 1 complete.
How you going there this morning, Geoff? Bit of trouble with the motorcycle.
Yes, I've had to charge the battery up, Steve, overnight, or attempt to, and see how long it lasts today.
We think so.
At the moment,
Is he going to survive?
Of course, yes. It's a strong one and a strong bike. You can do it easily.
of course we'll survive.
Well, positive thinking will prevail.
Well, there's positive and negative thinking in this
Oh, Geoff. Battery joke. You can tell Geoff's a dad.
Good morning. We just woke up on our first morning in Myanmar, and we're about to ride for 10 hours through the mountains. I think it's supposed to be really spectacular and beautiful, but it's going to be a long, long day. So here we go.
Uh-oh.
We travelled 10 hours from Keng Tung to Namsang, winding around Buddhist temples, lazy buffalo, and a wayward truck driver who almost fell off a cliff. We stopped to help a truck driver. But then we realised she was hiding a weapon and that they were ransacking the vehicle, so we decided to move on. The road was clearly very new and savagely cut into the side of the mountains, but I guess we should be pretty thankful for the convenience. Like all good adventures, we spent some time hunting for hidden pea spots. We got run off the road so many times that we actually started to plan in advance, and we were rewarded with an impromptu music and dance performance.
Come on.
We've been riding for how long now?
So we rode 3 hours straight just now through crazy terrain, heaps of mountains, barely out of second gear.
And very simple towns too. Like this is the most elaborate town we've seen all day.
Yeah.
All very simple, like just wooden, bamboo kind of houses and stuff.
And we're less than a third of the way through the day.
Long day.
After a quick coffee, we prepared to hit the road. But the grandfather of the house insisted that we stay.
The old guys invited us to eat with him.
Grandfather insisted on serving us, and he refused even the slightest bit of help. Grandfather himself barely ate a small plate of rice and a few spoonfuls of curry.
Very tasty.
We didn't speak any Burmese and he didn't speak any English, but somehow we managed a heart-to-heart conversation.
Very nice. The food is very delicious.
Thank you.
Finally, we returned to Wolf. We snapped a few photos of our memories and hit the road, knowing that we would probably never ever meet each other again.
Due to the continued insurgency and fighting between different militia groups, we still needed to meet our guide So at various checkpoints to ensure safe passage. Rocket launchers, AK-47s, and occasional jeeps filled with armed men were a stark comparison to the beautiful green mountains and extraordinary kindness of the locals. Irrespective of these challenges, the people were always keen to share their culture with us.
What are you getting done, Amelia?
Oh my gosh, I'm getting the local makeup on my face.
It's called Tanaka. wear this car as a makeup. It is really good for the skin.
And it makes girls look very beautiful.
Yeah, the girls are very pregnant and
The tradition of Tanaka is hundreds of years old and exclusive to Myanmar. This tradition is not just reserved for the villages either, but women prefer this even in the big cities.
Oh, look at you.
After 10 hours, we arrived in Namsang. Tourists who are not travelling overland with a guide are not allowed to this part of Myanmar, so we were welcomed warmly by the locals. After sharing tea at a temple they were building, our new friends invited us to try some local food.
These guys very kindly ordered for us. We just met at the pagoda where they are working, and now they've all already eaten, and we're going to eat by ourselves while they watch.
Wow! After a huge meal and some amazing tasting local rice wine, we passed out until the morning.
You look a bit pale there, Amelia.
I don't feel so good.
So we're gonna ride for 5 hours today. How are you gonna do when you look like you're about to die?
I think I have some mild food poisoning from yesterday. Hopefully it's not too bad.
So we can put you in the car, or we can strap you onto the motorbike. Preference?
I want to go on the motorbike.
Hmm?
I want to go on the motorbike.
Amelia was determined to stay on the bike and continue to Inle Lake. So we rode to the dust, we rode to the clouds, and a few more random roadside performances before finally stopping for a break. So Amelia is feeling quite unwell over there in her lovely deck chair. So these ladies, what is this? It's meant to be a local thing that's good for sore belly. So we're going to try it. So we are using some local honey and some black tea, which should be good for Amelia's belly.
yeah. You can try this.
With local honey and tea, it's meant to be very good for you.
Well, that's very nice. That's very nice.
Want some corn? Want some corn? Sadly, local honey remedies and corn on a stick doesn't really help. So, while Amelia got some much needed rest, I explored Inle Lake alone. So we're on our little boat to Inle Lake, and this is basically all the tomatoes, which grow 60% of all the tomatoes in, what country am I in? Myanmar, over here. And also the boat's broken down. The remainder of the boat trip was filled with these crazy floating villages, floating monks, and even a floating temple. And finally, this guy. If you want to get a good photo, this is a professionally trained Insta fisherman. He has expert maneuvers for all the tourists to get the maximum value out of this trip. He's very, very good. Good posturing. On one move, he's going to do on the move.
There's all the moves. Look at that. That actually is a great photo.
In part 2 of our Myanmar adventure, we jump into some wild local rivers, snap one of the most important bolts on our bike, and try to make it to the Indian border within our 7-day limit. If you like this video, subscribe for more videos every week. Thanks for watching. See ya!